Join the team. Yes!
Hey, this is the McGuire Review, and today we're going to be taking a look at a really fun game called MoonQuake Escape, or as Jeff Johnston, the designer, says,
MoonQuake Escape!
Man, this guy does a phenomenal run-through on this game. I am happy to say on this one, we are going to do another giveaway. So this is how this one's going to work. You got to be a subscriber of the channel. You need to comment below so I can pull from the comments below on the channel. Go ahead and hit that like button if you like the video, but definitely comment below and follow this channel. You may want to follow me on Twitter as well, as I do make the announcements through Twitter. I will pin the winner to the top of the comments below as well, but it may be a little bit easier for you to see the winner right off the bat if you follow me on Twitter. This giveaway is going to be Quaketacious! You will be getting one copy of this game shipped to you for free. You will also get 8 of the custom buttons that they make for this game. There's a little, like little buttons, little pins you can put on you. You make 8 different types. Those will be included with this, as well as a promo pack for this game. So again, hit that subscribe, comment below to get entered. We'll run this one for 2 weeks. So on August the 6th, 2017, I will go ahead and randomly select a comment from the comments below. That will be the winner. I'll contact you, and this game will be shipped to you. So that's going to be the giveaway that we're going to do on this one. It's going to be awesome. Get in on this. It's a great game, and you can get it for free if you get into this contest. When we look at MoonQuake Escape, this is from Breaking Games and designer Jeff Johnston. It is a 10+, although my 8-year-old does play this game perfectly fine. It's 2 to 6 players, so you can get 6 on this, which is always good. 45 to 60 minutes. So we'll go ahead and set this box to the side here, and I'll show you kind of a component run through of what we've got here, and then we will look at what some gameplay will look like, because this is a really fun title. As you can see here, it's got a great board, it's got height to it. This one really excites me. So let's take a look at the rule book first. I think they did a good job on the rule book. You'll see here it is a nice full picture with text on the rules there. Lays out each one of the phases really nicely. It is a short read, and then in the back there are some examples of what all the cards do. So if you have any questions on those cards, there's a nice run through on those cards. And I will also say that this game comes with a extra rule set. So these are the advanced rules. You'll see there is a 2-player variant rule that's right here that you can put into effect, and then there are all these advanced rules. With this game, the advanced rules aren't something that you add later on top of a basic game. These advanced rules will change the game. So these are things you can come back and you can add for further gameplay to give yourself a little bit more variability as you're playing the game. I will also say that each one of these rings here, you can see these little rings sort of move on the board. Each one of these rings are double-sided, and on the other side of this ring, and I'll go ahead and pop off a couple of these rings here just to show you. On the other side of this ring, there is a little bit of a difference. So this is side B, which is called the basic game, which you will start with. And then side A has a little bit of a different setup. So each one of the 3 rings does have a side A, and you'll find it makes the game a little bit more advanced, and there's some other types of terrain that you have to go through, and that will affect various items that you'll get into the game as well. So I like that that gives you that variability too. We'll go ahead and put it back on our basic side here and set our pipes back up. We'll explain how that works here in a minute. So we'll put our rules right over here and then get into the rest of the components. You will see that each player will start with an alien, and they do have really nice artwork stand-ups in the game. There are 6 different aliens that you can choose from. There is a little robotic guard that you get here that will interact with you as you play the game, and your rocket ship, which you will use to make your escape at the end of the game. You will find a deck of cards. These cards are going to be drawn over the course of each round as you're playing the game. There's various things that will cause you to be able to draw cards from this deck. You will have a die. So there's a single die that is included in the game, and you'll use that to roll on every round to actually change the board. And I really like that concept in this particular title, where every time a new round starts, there's something called the MoonQuake phase. And it's right up here. There's 4 phases to the game: the MoonQuake, the Escape, the Action, and the Guard phase. And you'll use this little token here to kind of step yourself through each one of those phases. But when you get to the MoonQuake at the beginning of every round, you're going to roll that die, and then you're going to be able to change all 3 of those rings. So it adds a little bit of randomness to the game as you're playing, because you will be climbing these rings almost like you're kind of climbing this mountain to get to the top, to get into this rocket and use 1 charge to blast off and win the game. So that's what the die is going to be used for, and that's essentially all the components that you're going to have in the game. Now, each player will obviously have this player card here. On the back, it does have the different terrain types. That's both on the B and the A side of these rings. And then on the front here, everyone's is going to be the same. It is going to have a card that allows you to easily place items that are not ready yet. You will acquire items throughout the course of the game, and then on the other side, once those items are ready, you can put them on that side of the card. You will put your alien right up in the center here, so it's clear which alien each person has, and then along the bottom here, you'll be able to track the amount of battery charges that you have, which will change round to round. That's another thing that I really like. You will have the ability to save charges from round to round, so you can kind of use that in your strategy of, well, I've got a couple charges left over, I'm going to just go ahead and save those charges until the next round, and then I might have more than everyone else. So that's how those charges are going to work, and we will review that more when we get to the gameplay, where I can go over a couple examples of how this actually works. Okay, setup is easy. What you're going to want to do, and there's a reason why there is 2 of the aliens for each player. One of the aliens is going to be used to put on your card, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, and that is just to call out which alien you are. The other one is going to go into your hand, and you're going to want to hide that alien, so every time you go through a round, different things will happen if your alien is revealed, so someone can see it, or if it's still hidden and no one really knows which card is the alien. So this is how setup would happen. Each player would get that extra alien. Each player would also get one of these energy shields, and I'll show you why that's important here in a second. And then each player would be dealt 4 cards. So we'll just go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's for this player. 1, 2, 3, 4 for this player, and 1, 2, 3, 4 for this player. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the hand, we're going to take the 4 cards we just got, we're going to take our energy shield, and we're going to take one of our extra alien cards, we're going to put that in our hand, and each player is going to do this. At this point, you're going to look through the hand, you're going to find any card that is blue, like this. Much like the energy shield is a blue card, that's an item in the game. This right here is a extra battery, and it will tell you exactly what it does right down here. It does have a benefit. Any of those types of cards, you're going to put right automatically into the not ready equipment side. So you're going to go through here, and that happens to be this player's only blue card outside of the energy shield. So I'll go ahead and set my energy shield here because I'm going to use it here in a second. Then what you're going to want to do is look at the rest of your cards. And the rest of these cards, one of which is going to be your alien, and the other ones are going to be things that are going to either benefit or hurt other players when they reveal them. So like this one does nothing, it just says missed me. This one actually makes the prison guard move. This one is called a stasis gun jam. So if any other player has a stasis gun, they can't use it on you. It jams that gun. So now what you're going to want to do is take these cards and shuffle them up, and you know where the alien is, but your opponents do not. You're going to put those down just like that in front of you. And there is no limit on how many of these cards you can get. So you're going to set those down there, and then you're going to take your energy shield, and the energy shield is like a blocker. So over the course of game, there's an action a player can take. It's called Zap. And they are going to be zapping your cards, making you turn those cards over, and they're looking for your alien. Well, they may zap a card that isn't an alien and get hit with one of those things that we just talked about a second ago. One of the things you're going to want to do with this energy shield is it keeps a card from getting zapped. So it's kind of like an extra defense. So what happens if my energy shield was here and I zapped this card? It would zap the energy shield, break it, put it here, and then I would have to use another action, another zap, to actually reveal this card. Unless I had one of the cannon guns in the game, which I don't have yet. Maybe one of these other players have that, and that will allow me to zap a card and the energy shield on top of it. Alright, so which one of these cards do I want to put my energy shield on? I don't know. Let me see. I forgot which one my alien was. Okay, my alien for this player is actually right here. So for this player, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to put the energy shield right here and try to throw off my other opponents, because you may think, well, the person's going to put their energy shield over their alien, and sometimes you do, and that's a bluffing aspect of this game. You don't really know if a player is going to put it on the alien or put it on a card that is not the alien. So that's what we're going to do for this player. We're going to go this player and look at the cards, pick up all the cards. Okay, again, looking for those blues. All right, we got a pair of gravity boots. Going to put those in not ready. We do have our energy shield. We'll hold that out. And the rest of them are not blue cards. So now we're going to say, all right, this player, the alien's going to be right here, and then we're going to put a card here, here, and here. So the alien on this player is right here. Now what we're going to do is take that shield, and for this player, I am going to actually put my shield right over the alien. So again, opponents don't really know that. Am I bluffing? Am I not? Who knows? We're going to go ahead and set the rule book right over here. And for this last player, we'll pick those up, and we will look at the cards. And we've got our alien, and we've got our energy shield, and we've got quite a few blue cards that we got for this player. So there's 3 blue cards. We got a repair kit, which immediately is ready to go. It has 0 that it requires to use. Another energy shield, so we can pull that out later. And the epic grenade launcher, which will zap a shield and the next card under it. So we'll put that there in not ready, because we have to use charges to be able to ready them up. And then once they're ready, we can use them freely whenever we want to. 1 card that's left. So now what we're going to do is set the energy shield down. We're going to mix these up, and we only have 2 cards. We're going to put those out in front of us, and the alien is right there. And for this player, since, you know, it's kind of a toss-up with only 2, 50-50, I'm going to go ahead and put the shield on the card that is not the alien to try to throw off my opponents. Then what we're going to want to do is each player is going to get to start in one of the starting spots around the board. And there are 6 of those locations. You will determine first player by spinning the moon here, and whoever gets the highest number will be the first player. You'll move that moon kind of toward where that player is so they can easily access it. But I'm going to say here that we'll just say this was first player, second player, and third player. So first player, I'm going to start right there. Second player decides to start right there. And third player is going to start right here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to say, okay, well, this was first player, and let's say the first player was sitting over there. For the first round of the game, whatever this stopped on, so whoever won the charges here that it stopped on, that's how many charges or battery charges you're going to get to start with, and everybody would get that amount. Well, let's go ahead and say that this was the second round of the game, because I really want to show what each phases of this game have to offer. So what we would do is start with the MoonQuake phase. Let's say that moon landed on... We'll just say that's 4. So let's say the moon landed on 4. Every one of the players is going to get 4 charges. That's the first thing that we're going to want to do. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and start with that first player. So they had the moon, they spun the moon, we've got our amount of charges for this round. We're still in the MoonQuake phase. The next thing we got to do is pick up this black die. So again, this isn't the first turn. I'm trying to play a full round. The first turn, there's some of these things you're not going to do, much like rolling this die. So this is kind of the second round, we're going to say. Let's also say that some of these players were already on the board. Let's say we were here, and we were here. The guard was right there. So let's say that's what it looked like for the gameplay. So that MoonQuake player would then roll that die, and each one of these dice have a number and then a direction on them. So it's either going to go clockwise or counterclockwise for each one of these layers. You're going to start with this bottom layer. We got 2 counterclockwise. So you're going to want to kind of hold these pieces a little bit, and you're going to want to turn it 2. And how you know that it's gone 1 is that the pipes will line up. That's 1. And then we'll turn it again, and we will get 2. And it's okay if that moon turns. You can kind of put that back. Sometimes it gets caught by the side there, but that's perfectly fine. We can turn that back, and now we're going to go for the next layer, and it's 1 counterclockwise. So we're going to go 1, and there's 1 counterclockwise. Now we're going to go for the last layer, and that's 1 counterclockwise as well. So we're going to go ahead and go 1 counterclockwise. So now the board has been changed. And you'll see that depending on where you were the round prior, you may be at a different spot, which will affect what you may be able to do when you're able to move. So now what we're going to do is we're through the MoonQuake phase. We're now going to go to the escape phase. Now, this is a different kind of thing here. So if your alien is still hidden, which let's say by round 2 everyone's alien is still hidden, you then will be able to move up. And you can move up into one of the 2 spots that is kind of separated by these pipes here from where you are on the layer below. Now, you can't move directly into a crater unless you do have a special type of item. I do have these gravity boots here, but they're not readied up yet, so I can't use them. You can easily move from a plains to a plains. You cannot move from a plains to a crater unless you do have a special item, or unless you are already in a crater, you can move to a crater, or if you were on a section of a plains where there's only an option to go to a crater or a crater, then you can move into a crater. So none of my aliens are revealed. That means I can move. If my aliens were revealed, if one of them was up and had been found, then what would happen is I'd be able to draw 3 cards. And what I would do is I would draw those 3, then would be able to pick up your alien again, rearrange cards, put them back down, and put energy shields over them if you do have that available to you. So that's kind of the step where you're not able to move closer to the launch pad, but you're able to kind of re-hide your alien. So that's kind of the trade-off. Like if someone's able to reveal your alien, you can't move, you just get to draw 3 cards and then get to hide your alien again. So in this instance, nobody's alien was revealed, so we're all going to be moving. So the first player here is going to go ahead and take their movement, and I'm going to jump right here. The second player is going to go, and they're going to jump, let's see, I have the option of going, let's see here, I am going to move right over here to this plains, and this player is going to move up to this plains as well. Now what's going to happen is you're going to go into the action phase. And in the action phase, you're going to start with that moon phase player again. So whichever one spun the moon for that round. And that player is going to get to now execute actions that we got for that round. So for this one, we got 4. So each player got 4 actions. But the first thing you're going to want to do is look at one of these little symbols here. So on each one of these spaces on the rings, there are symbols that are on the board. Bear, load the video so everybody can see the board well. There are symbols that are on these boards. And these symbols will actually allow you to do certain actions for free. So there's little masks, and there's kind of a Wi-Fi symbol, and there's a check mark. So the check mark will allow you to ready an equipment card. So if there's an equipment card that you have that you want to get readied, you can just go ahead and ready that up. A mask will allow you to look at someone else's card. A Wi-Fi will allow you to draw a card. There's all different types of actions that you can take in the game just for free by landing on certain spots. And that's why sometimes when you might think, well, on the next round I'll move up and I'll get to do this action for free, that may not be the case, because when someone rolls the die, that board is going to be changing, remember. That's kind of a fun aspect of this game. So for the first player here, I'm on a space with a little eye. And I go right here, and that little eye tells me to spy. So I can look at one of the cards from my opponents. It just can't be a card that has a shield over it. So I could look at one of these cards or one of these cards. Well, I'm going to go over here to this player, and I'm going to say, I'm going to look at this card. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to flip it up, and I'm going to look at it. Okay, it was a Stasis Gun Jam. Now, I know it's a Stasis Gun Jam. It isn't going to reveal that card. I'm just going to secretly look at it and know there's a Stasis Gun Jam there, and I'm going to put it back down. So that's a benefit for me to know that I'm not going to want to go for that card on this player anymore. I'm going to want to target one of these 3 cards because it's a better chance that I'll be able to get those alien, obviously, because that one is the Stasis Gun, and I don't want that. Okay, so that's going to be the free action. Now I'm going to go to using my actions for the player. So I got 4 charges. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and use 1 charge to ready up this shield, and that'll take a charge down. I then am going to go ahead and take that shield and place it right on this card, because you can double up. So now what I'm trying to do is really protect this card. Maybe that's the alien, maybe it's not, but I'm going to put a double shield there. Now I'm going to look here and see, well, you know what? I'm going to do a zap action. So I'm going to use another charge, and I'm going to zap someone's card. Well, I know this card for this player isn't the alien. I'm going to zap this card. So zap. Oh, I found the alien for this player. Excellent. So I use one of my zaps, I zap the player, now their alien is revealed, which means on the next round, they won't be able to then move up, they'll have to then draw 3 cards and re-hide their alien. So again, you really want to zap as many cards as you can on your opponents and get those aliens revealed, because that's what stops your opponents from moving their way up the tier towards the rocket. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is, that is my second charge, And let's see. You know what? I'm just going to stop there, and I'm going to retain those 2 battery charges because, again, you can save those from round to round. The next round, I'll be able to add more, and I might even be able to max myself out with 5. So I'm going to keep that. We'll go here to second player. Second player then is going to go ahead and use 1 charge. Let's get those gravity boots ready to go. I then am going to use another charge, and I am going to zap. You know what? I'm going to zap this card thinking, you know what? You're trying to hide that, but I bet your alien's there. So we're going to zap it. And there it is, the alien. Oh, man. That worked out well. Okay, so I zapped that card. This alien is now revealed. Now, I did forget, when you do reveal an alien for someone, you do get to draw a card. So this player would get to draw a card. You could rearrange your cards at this point, but I'm just going to go ahead and set this one down. This player here would have got to draw a card as well, and that would have been... That actually was a blue, so it would have went right into my area here. Now, if it was a card that wouldn't have been blue, then I would have had more options for someone to choose from. But it worked out well for us. It was a blue card, so it wouldn't have thrown off our example here. We have 2 charges left, and you know what? I'm going to leave the 2 charges on this one as well. We're going to go to the third player. Third player is going to go ahead and queue up that battery. We're going to use that. That will save us if we get a lucky shot, force fence, or radiation that happens to us. That extra battery will block that. I'm then going to use another charge down to 2 here, and I'm going to zap. Let's zap this card. Okay, now this is not secret, so when it zaps, it comes... Oh, no, lucky shot. So defender loses a charge. Okay, so this will come off the board. It has been used, and the defender now loses another charge. So now that defender is down to 1. So that was a good move. I'm going to use another charge here, and I'm going to zap another one of this player's cards. I'm going to zap this one. Okay, this one's prison guard. So move the guard to defender's space. So you're going to grab the guard, and it's now going to move to the defender, which is this player, and the defender is right here. So the guard is now going to be moved up into this space. And that's going to be important here when we get to the guard phase. All right, I do have 1 more charge left, but I'm going to save that charge, and then that's going to be the end of our action phase, and we're going to move to the guard phase. Now, in the guard phase, we're going to have a couple different decisions to make. One, if the guard moved, the guard is going to stay right there, and the guard is not going to do anything. If the guard did not move, the guard will zap every single alien that is on the same ring that that guard is on. But that's not going to happen here because the guard moved that turn. Now, if the guard happened to just be staying there, how you would do that is the player before you would play the guard and would zap the card of their choice. So it's just another way to kind of zap off and reveal people's cards. That's what that guard can do. But since it moved, there's no zapping that's going to be on. Now, if there was a situation where the guard was there and it didn't move, and there was no alien that was on its same ring, it then would just jump up to the ring. That would be the next one up top. But that didn't happen either. So the guard is going to stay right there with everybody, and that's the end of the guard phase. Now what's going to happen is it's going to go back to the MoonQuake phase. The moon is going to be then turned towards the next player, and the next player will start that sequence again. And for the next round, what you're going to find is only this player is going to be moving. This player and this player have their aliens revealed, so they will be drawing cards and re-hiding their alien, which is going to give this player the benefit because this player is now going to be able to move up to the third layer, only 1 away from the top rocket where they can take off and win the game. There are a couple other criteria that have to be clear. When you are at the top, you do have at least 1 charge left to be able to take off with the rocket, and your alien has to be revealed. There are some tiebreaker situations that are in the rules if you have multiple players that are allowed to launch at the same time, and you will check for that launch at the end of the guard phase. So it's at the very end of that round. Now, there is one more thing to the game that I will mention. There is a little token here called the Moon Orbit token, and that's going to sit right here. Now, there are cards that are in the game that will affect the moon orbit, and when you reveal those, they're going to just be laid right on this token. And at the end of every round, what you'll do is you'll take those cards off one at a time if there's more than one, and every time you take one off, it's going to flip the moon orbit. And what that will do is the game may be set to be moving clockwise. And let's say that this was first player and this was second player. Well, it would go to the second player, and the second player would get to spin the moon and roll the die. Well, if the moon ends up flipping back counterclockwise, then the moon would switch the other way. And that player then wouldn't get to do it. It would be the other player on the other side of the first player. So that's what's really nice there is every turn, you also really don't know if you will be the next one to get to spin the moon and roll the die. That is affected by your moon orbit token here that's at the top of the board game. So I like that as well. So let's talk here for a second about this game. I love the artwork. I love the components. It's got a great fun feel to it. You know, it has, I love games that have height like this. I love games that you can kind of build and put together, and this game has all of that. It's an excellent title. It is definitely a buy. Trust me. If you're looking for a family game night, if you have kids, this game is great with just adults too. Pick this title up. You are going to enjoy it. Trust me. The game does have a bit of randomness, but I will say that it works well in this title. The random components of this game work very well. I have not found that if there's a certain strategy that I'm trying to do and I'm going for, I haven't found that all the movement of the board and the movement of the moon will affect it that dramatically. And I like that. It's got a little bit of risk. It's got a little bit of luck that's put in with the movement of the board, but I don't find it dramatically changing the balancing or the gameplay from round to round. So I think it's a great design. It's got just the amount of luck and variability in it, but you can still utilize your cards and your equipment. I think that's what this game comes down to, is you really need to be watching your charges and using your charges effectively. It's very important. You don't want to just blow through all your charges every turn. You want to use your charges when it makes sense to use your charges, and you want to retain them when you don't have that really good, perfect move. I find if you play the game with that strategy, you will have an advantage over your opponents if you really optimize how you use these charges. It really makes a big difference. Here we go, MoonQuake Escape. Remember the giveaway that we're doing? Click that subscribe, comment below, get into this giveaway. It's going to be awesome. So that's MoonQuake Escape. Great job breaking games. Good job, Jeff Johnston. Another great title. So click that like, hit the subscribe below to join the team, ring the bell. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time. Yes!